Well, thank you for being here. We made a counteroffer to the governor, and he received that as a good step on our part. They will work towards providing another counteroffer back tomorrow. We did close up one area, the ag bill. We've agreed on the number, and we're going to let the chairs and the commissioner work out the details, and then we'll sign off on the end. But a good step. We continue to work towards the end, and hopefully that's tomorrow or the next day. But so far, another good step.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Did you tell them the license tabs are unacceptable, or has that been worked out yet?
Yes, that's correct. We said we mentioned that as late as April 20th, we thought we were near an agreement with $372 million without tabs. We needed to work out some of the language and funding of buses, but we were very, very close. We want to continue on that path, so we came back with that same number that we had as late as April 20th. I still think we'll get it done, but we have to work out some of those details, but it definitely won't have a gas tax or a tab fee increase. Thank you.
Did you agree to that? Did you agree to that?
Well, he knows we're serious about that, and you know, that's what we've gone around and around with over the last few years. All through this session, we were aiming towards that path with what we think was agreement from the governor, just working out some minor details, but tab fees at the last minute is just a non-starter.
So you say you closed out ag. Did you just have a number there, or did you go through some of the issues that we've been talking about the last few days?
So we reviewed the ag bill a number of times, and it was the number that we had to come to. Some of the basic details the commissioner and the chairs were working on, and they felt they were close enough to get that done. And so we think that's still going to be the case, but we had to have the number like we have to have for all of them. As soon as we get a number on each of the areas that we agree with, we're going to move on them, and that one we're done. Right now we're done with that one.
So you're just giving them the number, and somebody else, the chairs and commissioners, are filling in the details. Is that how I understand it?
Well, that was always kind of our intent, that the people who know the most about these issue areas, the commissioners and the committee chairs and conferees, would work out the differences. There may be some higher level issues that we need to make decisions on now, but for the most part, we hope that we can use that process for them to work out the differences in the bills. And that's what we've asked the ag chairs to do at this point with the commissioners, work out the differences.
Do they have a deadline?
No, but
No, it'll be soon.
yeah.
Is there a message you're giving to your chairs since ag is done on policy? The governor has complained bitterly about policy and budget bills, and I know you've said that there's always policy and budget bills. What's the general message you're giving to chairs?
You know, we leave that up to the chairs. I think that I think they've already made some headway in working out some of the disagreement on the issues that are in that bill. You know, obviously there are issues that are important to the farmers across the state of Minnesota, and we care a lot about making sure that we represent them well. So, but I think they can work out the differences pretty easily, I think, in that bill.
And the governor's agreed to let the chairs work out policy?
Yes, with his commissioner.
And is that with all bills or just ag?
In this particular bill right now.
Can we declare that negotiations are now real and actually happening?
Well, I think they have been real. You know, maybe they haven't been moving as quickly as we have wanted, or in quite the direction always that we've wanted, but we're certainly appreciative of the steps that the governor has taken, and I think he appreciates the steps that we've taken. We've got a long way to go, and I don't think anybody should assume that because we've made a little bit of progress that this is all going to be wrapped up by later tonight. We're hoping to stay at the negotiating table yet tonight and throughout the day tomorrow, but we're committed to doing this as long as it takes to get it done. And I think there is enough time, if everybody's serious, to get this done within the regular legislative session here.
Do you feel like it's moving in the right direction? Do you feel like it's moving in the right direction now?
You know, I think, you know, we're moving closer together, and I think that's what it's going to take to get this wrapped up. There's going to need to be compromise on both sides. I think that's happening, and ultimately, I feel good about the direction we're headed. But there's a long ways to go, so we remain, you know, optimistic, but also concerned about making sure that there is enough movement to get this done on time.
Mr. Speaker, this time last year, your transportation plan had about $100 million in license tab fee increases. What's changed since then that's off the table now?
Well, you know, I think we have a bigger surplus now than we had at that time. I think there was $900 million a year ago. Now we've got, you know, $1.65 billion. We've spent a little bit of that, but ultimately, I think Minnesotans expect us to use the money that they've already given us to pay for roads and bridges. And you know, also the governor said back in April that he would take our transportation plan, that he, you know, maybe it wasn't exactly what he wanted, but he ultimately would sign it. So we want to hold him to that. We think we've got agreement on that issue.
How big of a concession was it to drop that tax number below $1 billion? I know that was kind of a big...
Well, it is a big deal. You know, we care a lot about making sure that Minnesotans get to share in some of the prosperity that they have created for the state of Minnesota. That was a big priority for us. We feel like Minnesotans haven't fully recovered from the recession as well as the state budget has. So we want them to share in some of that prosperity that they helped create. But, you know, ultimately, the HHS numbers are putting a crunch on the entire state budget, and that's the toughest part that we're going to have to deal with, is the HHS part of the budget.
Does it mean that things will have to be scaled down to fit in, or are you dropping some things within that tax cut area to accommodate the lower number?
We haven't gotten into the details of that yet. We're still at the higher level, which we think is appropriate for the meetings with the governor. We can set the guardrails, if you will, and let the committee chairs work out the differences. We think that's appropriate.
Has there been any discussion inside the room about the Real ID policy language that's going to go in one of the other?
We're trying to wrap up the conference committee on Real ID tonight, and we'll share that language with the governor, and you should expect to see that very shortly.
Isn't that contingent on putting language like was in the public safety omnibus?
Well, we're sending the
some
Real
omnibus?
ID language by itself, and the senators and representatives will have to decide if they think that's important for Minnesota. We think it is. We're going to continue to work on the other issues that are related to that, but it'll be in different places. And so we're going to send it clean and let legislators decide.
So you haven't had a discussion inside the room about putting that immigrant driver's license in a budget bill?
No, we have not.
But I will remind you that the governor has spoken publicly that he believes that is, you know, current practice, that he does not have the ability. So, you know, putting language to that effect in statute in one of these bills should not be controversial.
Tomorrow?
Real ID.
Yeah.
Could be as soon as tomorrow. I think we expect them to wrap up the conference committee tonight, and could be, you know, it has to wait at the desk for 12 hours, so it could be as soon as tomorrow.
And in the Senate as well?
Depends if we have 34 votes or not. So, yeah, if we have 34 votes, we want to bring it forward as soon as we can. That's always the dynamics in the Senate, and we've had, you know, a number of cases that have made that extremely difficult, but here we are.
Will your chair push on the buffer strip enforcement delay?
Well, they've been pushing on that all session long. I don't know what the final outcome's going to be. The governor's very passionate about letting things stay as they are. He made some concessions last year. We think the ag community is right that he should make some more concessions this year, but that may go right to the end, and we'll see.
The governor offered us 4 bills last week. Are you closer on any of those than are you getting closer on some of those?
Each one of the bills were closer, and like we said, ag reached the point where we said, let's go do it. All the other ones are closer. We'll continue to work towards solutions that we can all agree with, and we're going to get it done.
No more meetings with the governor until tomorrow?
We don't have anything scheduled tonight. They wanted to take some time to review the offer that we gave them now. We're hoping to hear back from them within an hour or two, and hopefully we can meet tonight. We're optimistic about that.
Stick around, Don.
Yeah. I guess you are waiting. If you want to be released for the night, ask them. We're hoping to still continue working, and I know that's probably why you're asking that question, but we don't want you staking out here for no reason, but
If you find out, tell us.
we hope to be coming back tonight.
Read our stories.
Yeah. All right. Take care.